Let me speak directly to your soul. You didn't come here by accident. This moment is not random. Something in you, even if it's buried beneath fear, failure, or fatigue, is still alive, still fighting, still reaching. And I didn't come here to give you a motivational talk. I came here to wake up the warrior that life tried to kill inside you. Because they lied to you. This world lied to you. They told you it was okay to be soft, that it's normal to feel defeated, that weakness is part of the journey. No, weakness is not part of the process. It is the enemy of your destiny. And if you don't kill it, it will kill everything you're meant to become. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That voice that says we're tired. That feeling that says it's too hard. That thought that whispers, you'll fail again. That's the enemy. And it lives inside you, disguised as emotion, disguised as self-doubt, disguised as being realistic. But tonight, that enemy will die. If you stay with me until the end of this speech, I will not just speak to your mind, I will speak to your spirit. I will not just inspire you, I will help you remember who you are. Because deep down you've always known, you were never meant to live small. You were never meant to survive. You were born to conquer. So I give you a warning and a promise. This message will disturb your comfort. It will confront your excuses. It will demand your strength. But if you have even one drop of fire left in you, then listen. Listen with your soul. Because by the time we finish, you won't recognize the weak version of you ever again. Now sit up. Breathe in, lock your mind. And get ready. Because the war against weakness starts now. They told you weakness was human. That fear is part of the process. That doubting yourself makes you real. No, what it makes you is vulnerable. And in a world that eats the soft and spits out the timid, vulnerability to weakness is not humility. It's suicide. Every time you bow to fear, you give your enemies a seat at your table. Every time you surrender to doubt, you lose ground you were born to own. Weakness is not a phase. It is not a season. It is a virus, and it will grow if you don't kill it. You see, the enemy doesn't need to destroy your life. He only needs to convince you to slow down, to question yourself, to delay one more day. That's how weak feelings work. They don't scream, they whisper. They whisper. They don't break through your door. They knock, politely, and you let them in. You say, I just don't feel like it today. And you believe that's a good enough reason to quit. But you don't realize that every time you let that feeling win, you are feeding a monster. A monster that wants your purpose, your future, your crown. You were not made to be governed by feelings. You were created to govern them. You were born with fire. You were born with clarity. But the longer you tolerate weakness, the dimmer that fire becomes. And let me tell you something, they will not wait for you to get it together. The opportunities will not pause. The clock will not slow down. Life will move with or without you. That's why you must move even when you're tired. You must rise even when you're afraid. You must speak even when your voice shakes. That is how warriors think. That is how giants walk. But some of you, you've been too kind to the things that are killing you. You comfort your doubts. You entertain your fears. You justify your delays. And then you wonder why you're stuck. Listen to me. You are not stuck because you're incapable. You're stuck because you've been too polite to your weakness. You've been giving first-class treatment to second-class emotions. That ends tonight. Weakness is not an identity. It is not a personality trait. It is a parasite. And the longer you keep it, the more it feeds on your calling. You say, I'm just going through something. No, you are allowing something to go through you that should have been buried. Fear doesn't leave on its own. It has to be evicted. Doubt doesn't fade with time. It has to be confronted. Weakness doesn't care how talented you are. It only cares how willing you are to tolerate it. And some of you, you've been negotiating with your own destruction. Let me be clear. I don't care how broken your past was. I don't care how many times you failed. That does not justify a weak spirit. Because strength isn't given, it's built, it's chosen. Every day, every hour, every breath. You either build strength or you feed weakness. There is no neutral ground, so what will you do? Because the voices won't stop. The pressure won't ease. The critics will keep talking. But you have to decide, will I fold or will I rise? Do you know why fear speaks so loud? Because it knows your potential. Do you know why doubt clings so tight? Because it sees where you're headed. Weakness doesn't chase the useless. It targets the chosen. It attacks the powerful. So if you feel like everything inside you is at war, good. It means there's something valuable in you that the enemy wants to silence. But you won't be silenced. Not now, not ever. Because now you know weakness is not just an inconvenience, it is an invader and does not belong in your spirit. You must rise every morning like a soldier standing at the gate. You must watch your thoughts like a fortress under siege. You must fight the lies before they plant roots. Because once weakness grows, it breeds more weakness. It turns days into delay. It turns potential into regret. You've wasted enough time bowing to feelings that do not serve your mission. Now, you must kill them, not manage them. Kill them. Fear must die. Doubt must die. Insecurity must die. Every weak feeling that told you to wait, bury it. Every emotion that told you you're not enough, bury it. Every whisper that made you shrink, bury it. Because the life you want, it is not found in feelings. It is found in fire, ruthless fire. Unshakable discipline. A mind so sharp it cuts through emotion, and a spirit so strong that weakness dares not speak in its presence. And that's strength. It starts now. Pain is not your enemy. You've been lied to. They told you pain means something is wrong. That if you're hurting, it's time to stop. That if it's uncomfortable, it's unsafe. No. That kind of thinking is how warriors become weak. That kind of mindset is how kings stay poor. Pain is not the enemy. Comfort is. Because while pain shapes you, comfort silences you. Pain builds your strength, but comfort slowly kills your hunger, your ambition, your fire. Look around you. The world is suffering from too much comfort. People are paralyzed by convenience, numb from too much safety. Dreams die not because people lack talent, but because they choose what feels good over what builds them. And the truth is, every time you choose comfort over growth, you become a little softer, a little slower, a little weaker. And weakness, when tolerated long enough, becomes your new standard. You say you want to grow, then why are you avoiding the grind? Why are you negotiating with struggle? Why are you waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect mood? To act, that is comfort talking. That is weakness speaking through your habit. You've been running from pain, but what you don't realize is that your destiny is buried inside it. The fire you keep dodging is the very place your character is forged. Nobody becomes great in a soft environment. Steel is hardened in heat. Diamonds are made under pressure. And champions? Champions are built in the storm, not the spa. You have to understand something deep. If you are not willing to suffer for your purpose, you don't really want it. If you are not willing to go through discomfort, to bleed a little, to cry behind closed doors but keep pushing, then don't speak of greatness. Don't talk about goals. Because greatness demands pain. Success demands sacrifice. There is no shortcut. There is no easy way. And the longer you try to find one, the further you drift from who you were meant to be. Some of you keep saying, I'm just waiting for the right time. No. What you're waiting for is a comfortable feeling, and that feeling will never come. There is no perfect time to break your limits. There is no convenient day to confront your fears. You think comfort is protecting you, but it's just delaying your greatness. That's why you must make peace with the fire. You must shake hands with struggle. You must decide. Not hope, not wish, but decide that you will keep walking no matter how much it burns. Pain is not a punishment. It is proof. Proof that you're alive. Proof that you're alive. Proof that you're pressing through resistance instead of bowing to it. You feel pain because you're pushing? And that pressure? It's not a sign to stop. It's a sign to go harder. It means you're close. It means you're growing. And growth always hurts. Always. But so does staying the same. So does playing small. So does waking up 10 years from now and realizing you never even scratched the surface of your power because you kept choosing what was easy. You cannot build a legacy on comfort. You cannot leave a mark by staying safe. The world does not remember those who lived quiet, cozy lives. The ones who change history, the ones who shift generations, the ones who rewrite the rules, they all have one thing in common. They embraced the pain. They didn't flinch. They didn't back down. They took every hit and used it to get sharp. Every betrayal, every failure, every loss, they turned it into fuel. And that fuel, it burned hotter than any excuse. You have to become dangerous to your excuses. You have to become allergic to comfort. Every time something feels too easy, ask yourself, am I growing or am I settling? Am I being tested or am I hiding? And if you realize you've been playing it safe, then it's time to step into the fire. Not next week, not next month. Now. This is the season to stop begging for comfort and start building your character. The version of you that you admire, that unbreakable, focused, disciplined warrior, is not hiding in luxury. It's buried in sacrifice. It is locked inside every painful rep, every lonely night, every moment you wanted to quit but didn't. That version of you is not found in pleasure. It's found in pressure. So from this day forward, you must walk differently. You must train your mind to stop avoiding the burn and start embracing it. Every time pain comes, say thank you. Every time struggle rises, smile. Because that's not a wall, it's a mirror, showing you what you still need to kill. Showing you where your comfort is hiding. And you must chase it down, corner it, and destroy it. Because you were not made to live soft. You were not made to live soft. You were not made to walk easy paths. You were made to endure the fire and come out forged, not fragile. So kill your craving for comfort before it kills your calling. You cannot negotiate with emotions if you want to win. You cannot reason with feelings that were never meant to lead you. Emotions are loud liars. They scream when you're tired, they whisper when you're afraid, and they vanish when it's time to be held accountable. But discipline doesn't flinch. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't ask how you feel. It only moves. It only acts. And if you're going to kill your weak feelings, you need to build a discipline so sharp it cuts through every excuse that ever lived inside your mind. Some people are addicted to motivation. They wait for it like it's a sign from heaven. But you will not always be motivated. You will not always feel powerful. You will not always wake up inspired. That's the trap. That's how weakness gets back in, through the front door of emotion. And if your actions depend on how you feel, then your progress will always be fragile. Your goals will remain optional. But when discipline takes over, it becomes law. You move because it's who you are, not because it's how you feel. You act out of identity, not mood. That's the shift that separates warriors from the rest. You don't rise by being emotional. You rise by being deliberate. You don't build greatness by feeling your way through life. You build it by choosing the hard thing again and again until it becomes natural. Discipline is the knife. It cuts emotion away from action. It separates what needs to be done from what you feel like doing. And the moment you understand that, the moment you embrace that reality, is the moment your power begins to rise. The truth is, your enemy is not just fear. It's your softness toward your own emotions. That moment you say, I don't feel like showing up today, and then you actually don't. That moment you say, I'll start tomorrow, and you convince yourself that delay is harmless. No, that's betrayal. Betrayal of your purpose. Betrayal of your calling. Because your purpose doesn't care how you feel. It demands consistency. It demands obedience. And obedience only comes from discipline. Some of you think discipline is boring, that it's robotic, that it kills creativity. No, discipline is the highest form of self-love. When you discipline yourself, you are telling your future that it matters more than your temporary comfort. You are telling your destiny that it deserves priority over your emotions. That kind of power, that kind of clarity, doesn't just build success. It builds unshakable identity. A version of you that no storm can break. Weak feelings will always show up. They don't go away. Even the strongest warriors feel doubt. Even the most focused minds hear the whisper of a give up. But they don't listen. They don't move according to feeling. They move according to truth. And discipline is that truth. When you make it your weapon, emotions lose their grip. You stop living like a slave to passing moods, and you start walking like a king over your own mind. Discipline is repetition without negotiation. You do it whether it hurts or not. You do it whether the world is watching or not. You do it even when every part of you is screaming for ease, for sleep, for escape. And when you move like that, when you become ruthless with consistency, you become untouchable. Not because you feel strong, but because you refuse to bow to weakness. You have to train your soul for war. Every day you wake up and the battlefield is your mind. You're either sharpening your blade or letting it rust. You're either showing up for your future or you're betraying it. And most betrayals don't happen in loud moments. They happen in silence, in the little compromises, the skipped workout, the extra hour of sleep, the decision to scroll instead of build. Those are the silent assassins. That's how weak feelings win. And that's why discipline must be your response to everything. There is no shortcut to this. You can't fake discipline. You can't wish it into existence. You have to bleed for it. You have to build it brick by brick until it becomes a wall between you and your excuses. And once it's built, protect it like your life depends on it. Because it does. This is where everything changes. When you stop asking your feelings for permission. When you stop checking your mood before deciding your actions. When you rise without reason, push without applause, and grind without needing a pat on the back. That is when weakness begins to die. So if you want freedom, build discipline. If you want power, build discipline. If you want to kill your weak feelings once and for all, don't wait to feel ready. Train yourself to move anyway. There comes a moment in your life when you must stop asking for strength and start commanding it. That moment is now. You've been told to be kind, to be patient, to wait for your turn. But destiny doesn't wait for the polite. Purpose doesn't pause for the passive. The future you want will not arrive with a gentle knock. It must be taken with a ruthless mindset, with hands that do not shake, and a heart that does not apologize for its fire. Too many people want greatness, but still make room for weakness. They want to be powerful, but they treat their distractions like friends. You can't have both. You can't hold on to your comfort and expect to carry your calling. You have to make a decision that your vision is non-negotiable, that your dreams are not up for debate, that your mission is not something you try, it's something you finish, with blood in your mouth if you have to. You have to become dangerous to anything that tries to tame you. And I don't mean dangerous with anger. I mean dangerous with discipline, dangerous with direction, dangerous with unwavering commitment. Because when you truly step into purpose, the world will push back. People will misunderstand you. Some will walk away. But that's the cost. You cannot be obsessed with acceptance and also be obsessed with advancement. The path to purpose is lonely because it's uncommon. Most people don't want purpose. They want peace without pressure. They want rewards without resistance. But it doesn't work that way. Not for you. The bigger your calling, the greater the war. And that war begins in the mind. That's why weakness cannot be entertained. The moment you start giving space to soft thoughts like a maybe I'm not ready, or a maybe I'm too late, or a maybe I'm just not built for this, that's the moment your crown begins to fall. You either crush those thoughts or you let them control you. There is no neutral ground. There is no neutral ground. Your mind is either your weapon or your prison. You choose. Some of you are waiting for clarity before you move, waiting for validation before you act. But kings don't need permission. Warriors don't beg for signs. They move because the fire inside them won't let them sit still. They move because silence would suffocate them. And once you reach that level of internal force, that non-negotiable drive, you become untouchable. Not because life gets easier, but because your resolve gets stronger. This world doesn't owe you a stage. It won't hand you influence. It won't gift you impact. You must take it. You must earn it in the dark when no one is clapping, when no one is watching, when the battle feels endless and your body is begging to quit. That's where real warriors are forged. Not in applause, but in silence. Not in victory, but in the trenches. And if you can survive that, if you can rise every day and say, I will not fold, I will not flinch, I will not fade, then there is nothing life can throw at you that you won't overcome. But hear me, that mindset doesn't happen by accident. It must be built intentionally, brutally, daily. You must watch yourself like a hawk. You must kill every excuse before it grows legs. You must starve your distractions until they forget your name. Because greatness doesn't just demand your time, it demands your soul. It demands the death of your old self. The version of you that settled, that paused, that played small, that version must die. And you must be willing to bury it without a funeral. You will not reach your destiny casually. You will not walk into purpose with soft language and half-hearted effort. You must be relentless. You must walk with a presence that makes fear step aside. You must carry yourself like someone who refuses to lose, not because it's easy, but because losing is simply not an option. That's the mindset. That's the standard. And if that's not the energy you wake up with, then it's time to adjust your spirit. You've been passive for too long, polishing your pain, playing safe, waiting to be ready. But ready never comes. You don't wait for strength. You step into it. You don't pray for courage. You act until it shows up. Asane. And once it arrives, you don't let it go. You hold it. You sharpen it. You turn it into a blade that cuts through every lie, every fear, every delay that once held you hostage. Because the truth is simple. Your destiny was never meant for the weak. It was built for the ruthless. So if you're ready to kill your weak feelings, then kill the mindset that made space for them in the first place. Burn the old version. Rise from the ashes. And don't look back.